Good evening, everyone. My name is Christine. Welcome back to Kandid Koffee. I'm so excited to have Michael Passion here with me today. Thank you for joining me. I'm very happy to have you.
You're very welcome. So am I. Before you ask me any questions, just be aware that I have a few people looking for me.
Okay.
Like the IRS and the FBI. Not that because I'm Armenian, it's because I'm Armenian.
Okay.
You can continue now.
Then we should turn off our phones in that case. So I've been watching Armenian Nights at the Flappers comedy show for a few years now, on and off, a lot in the very beginning when you guys first started out. Comedy has been a really big part of my life. As soon as I was legal to go and get into Laugh Factory, I've been going several times a year for 18 plus years. I just love that more and more Armenian comics are being recognized and they're more mainstream now. Because before it was like Haiko Muko, it was like little comedy specials that they would do, like skits and things like that. So it's really refreshing to see Armenian comics that are doing stand-up. So I'm really proud of you.
We're definitely growing.
Yeah.
Like you said, in the 90s, 80s, 90s, there wasn't really much.
Yeah.
But it's a new era, it's a new generation. Plus we have more to say, We're more open. We're in America, so we feel like, at least myself, Mary, Moses, a few of us don't have any limitations.
Yeah.
And what that does is that actually shows your true colors as far as entertaining. And that's what gets you to the next level. Because when you restrict yourself, you don't let yourself go. And when you don't let yourself go, you don't relate to a lot of people.
Right.
So for us, and we've had numerous conversations with Mary and Moses, and for us, we feel like we have to do that to get the new generation. Like, listen, it's okay to express your feelings.
Right.
Because comedians, it's when we talk, everything we say, we're responsible for it. So it's the truth. We don't make stuff up. When we tell a story, when we tell a joke, it's always connected to something true. And that's why
that's what makes it funny.
Yeah, and you've been there, and I've had shows where people come up to me at the end and they're like, "You made me cry." But in reality, it was them that made themselves cry because they related to everything I was saying.
You made me cry in a bad way? Or
in a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Okay, good.
I've had men come up to me, "Bro, you made me cry." And I'm like, interesting. I didn't know that I can make men cry.
Yeah.
But, it's reality. So we want to change that. And I think we did. I think we're at a level where we were just like...
Right.
expressing how we feel, and people are actually accepting it. Not all of them, but most people are accepting it.
Absolutely. I think it's a lot more. The more they go to these shows, either they're dragged there by their spouses or girlfriends or friends or things like that, or they are willingly going and not really knowing what to expect at first.
Yeah.
And even though some things are very hard for them to swallow, and they kind of tighten up when they're sitting there.
That's where I come in.
Yeah, exactly.
If they weren't comfortable, they're definitely not comfortable after I get up.
Exactly. And I've seen everything. For me, it's very hard for me to get offended by something. Like, I've seen all kinds of comedians, from the most, raunchiest, most dirtiest comedians, to the most innocent and sweet and PG, like Ellen DeGeneres and Jim Gaffigan. They don't hardly ever use any profanity. It's very sweet comedy, very relatable. But at the same time, things are also relatable when they're very, very much R-rated, And I think Armenians in general are having more and more, progress towards being like, okay, they are poking fun at us as a race, as a community, the Armenians, but let's just chill and enjoy it and just laugh at ourselves. Life's too serious, and you can't take things so serious all the time.
It's the truth.
Yeah, it is the truth.
What I say is the truth, and people relate to it, and it's funny.
Right.
A lot of people will accept it because you just gotta accept it and go with it. A lot of people, they feel like if they laugh, they're at fault. For certain things that I may bring up.
They're admitting the guilt.
A lot of people, they have like family and friends, like they're sitting next to their mom and dad, and they don't want to laugh because if they laugh, they're admitting that guilt. Or maybe they know what's going on. Right. And they don't want to be judged later. You know, but it's the truth. And when we go rated R, it's not, we don't just do it. It makes sense with the story. Right. And that's the difference between a professional comedian and someone who's just off the streets and they like say the wrong things at the right time. We don't do that.
Right.
When we curse, it makes sense, guaranteed, at least on my end.
Yes, I know. I can vouch for that.
Yeah,
definitely.
And that's just having years of experience.
Mike Passion, born Manuk Pashanyan on March 12, 1982 in Yerevan City. The oldest of two boys, he was gregarious and over-the-top. Loud, risky, funny, and always animated, he was often called the class clown. His personality caught the attention of all of his friends and classmates, getting him into trouble with teachers and his parents. He started acting classes and polishing his skills in theater and comedy at Groundling and Playhouse theaters. He changed his name back in 2004, and I'm sure with a name like Passion, he was hard to forget.
Michael, when we met up and we were discussing the details of this interview for today, you had mentioned something really interesting about the circumstances in which you and your family came here to America from Armenia. And I was so surprised by your story. And I'd love for you to share it with us.
Okay. Let's see. We came to the States in 91. Legal immigrants. My dad got the paperwork, etc. On our way to Moscow, because we had to land before we came to the States, my dad was kidnapped by the Russian mafia. I can't say if it was the mafia, but he was kidnapped by a whole bunch of Russian men.
Okay.
And we lost him. So basically they wanted $10,000 cash, or they were gonna basically not return him. And we literally spent like 3 days in Moscow at the outskirts of the airport, like looking for a place to stay until we got that money. And it was pretty interesting as a kid, because I was 9, my brother was 8, and we had nowhere to go. Living in like 3 days in the snow, having nowhere to go. Like I remember we would go knocking on doors and nobody would let us in. And we're kids, we don't know what's going on. They just kept telling us to wait. But now that I'm thinking back, that was like, that's crazy for a kid to go through.
Yeah.
When he came out of that, like now I'm looking back at him, like he's a hero, because it's not easy. Right. But his friends, of course, they helped, they sent money and whatever we had to get here. But it was tough. I mean, I could have just not been sitting here. Absolutely. You never know what they can do. And then I think my dad was saying too, like he looked over at a cop, and the cop just literally turned his head, because it was all arranged. And that was like in 91. So crazy things can happen.
Right.
It happened to us.
Straight out of a movie.
Yeah, straight out of a movie. I mean, it's crazy. It's like the movie Taken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow.
Thank you for reminding me of that thing. I really appreciate it. Yeah. It's supposed to be a uplifting interview. It's great.
Well, you gotta.
I'm here. We're alive.
Exactly.
I got my legs, got my hands. We're good.
Good. And when you were here, how was growing up? Learning English as a second language, being around new classmates. How did you kind of acclimate to things, and what gave you that spark of interest in being a performer or being kind of a class clown or something like that?
It was crazy, because my first day of school, no English, zero English. They sat me next to this guy named Adam Musoyan, who had an afro bigger than this flower. And he's our camera guy.
Right. Yeah.
Also my best friend. And first day, me and him, we just literally looked at each other and started laughing out loud. And the teacher was confused, didn't know how to react to it, because none of us spoke English, and we were just doing crazy Armenian stuff that kids would do. We weren't paying attention. We were talking in Armenian. Like, it was insane. And that went on for like a few months until we figured out like structure. Because coming from Armenia, right, you don't know. You're in America now. Now you have rules. We didn't have rules really. Like, I would run out of school and go home in Armenia. There was nobody to go after me. But it was challenging because of the language barrier.
Right.
At my first day of school, I was chasing girls into the bathroom. Yeah. They called my mom and they were like, "We're giving him a pink slip." None of us knew what a pink slip was. Got into my first crazy fight with a whole bunch of Hispanic kids because that's what I knew back home.
And were you in Hollywood?
I was in. We went to Edison, Edison Elementary. So it was very interesting. And then slowly you start to learn like structure. They threatened us, basically. They were like, "Listen, if you continue this, you're going back to Armenia." That's when we kind of woke up. We're like, yes, I am.
Sounds like something.
But it was, I had a good childhood life here. It's great.
when did you start getting into the acting and everything? How young were you?
From what I remember, I've been a clown ever since I was a kid. When I was 6 years old, I took my grandfather's screwdriver, and I went behind the TV and I tried to unscrew it to get in it.
That was in TV.
That was the mindset I had as a kid.
Yeah.
But I had no guidance. I had nothing. All I got was his sandal on my head. Because he kept saying, like, don't break the TV. But when we came to the States, I really had no idea that I wanted to be a comedian. We were just funny. Like, me and Autumn used to make each other laugh in class all the time.
Aww.
And all the time. Like, if he was at my house or if I was at his house, it would just be like nothing but clowniness. And then when I went to high school, I took some classes. The only class I actually had an A was in drama.
Drama, yeah.
And that's everything else I failed. I didn't even graduate high school. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
No, I got kicked out. I went to Daily.
Oh.
And Daily was worse.
It's like continuation school.
That was worse.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to help you.
Yeah, no.
Didn't help me. The kids around me were smoking weed, etc., etc. Of course, I didn't do any of those, but I was surrounded with those kids. And so, yeah, I didn't graduate.
Wow.
Just went into comedy. I just started taking some classes and took a whole bunch of acting classes, Meisner technique, method technique. For years, I used to take classes.
Yeah, but that's something that you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah, and then I developed myself as far as an actor. And then I was like, listen, I want to do some comedy stuff. And then I realized that stand-up comedy was my way into comedic movies. And that's when I took on my first stand-up. That was at the Comedy Store at the Belly Room upstairs. And it just took off from there. It was great.
Your first one was at the Comedy
The Belly Room, yeah, with Noel, my buddy Noel, and he's awesome. I remember that night, I think Aram was there. I got up on stage with nothing but a robe on. A Betty Boop robe that my mom had. And some short tights. Because I thought physical comedy was the way to go.
Right.
Also, it's a part of you being nervous, but it's all a learning curve. You know?
Did you incorporate that into your bit, or you just randomly?
I just went as that. Well, because one of the bits was me doing an impression of Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movie Bloodsport, where he just had the tights. So I busted the robe out and I did that whole sketch thing, and that's kind of why I wore it.
Yeah.
But throughout the whole time, people weren't even listening to me because they were too focused on
your appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned that down the line, like, you have to be yourself. You can't, unless you're like a clown.
Yeah.
Doing clown stuff, you don't want to do that.
So. They're scared, man. They're like, what the fuck did this guy just do? Baby, is this a threat? Are they gonna blow this shit up? Listen here, calm down, just sit still. We're gonna try to get through this as safe as possible.
By watching so many comedians, even if it's a type of comedy that I don't particularly like as much as other styles, I still very much, unless you bombed, unless you're absolutely terrible, I still love a lot of comedians and I appreciate their work because it's so much work and time and nerves and confidence and practicing and doing open mics, endless open mics until you're so good.
Believe it or not, I haven't done any open mics.
Wow.
And that's
crazy.
Kind of the rule when you're starting out. I just went and did it. But luckily I had people
who
trusted me to go do it, and I did it. But I don't want to brag, but I feel like I was a natural because I kept getting laughs.
Yeah.
I kept getting a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
Then I was getting coached on the side, so I was kind of cheating my way in.
Right.
And then in comedy you have to find out who you are as a comedian.
Right.
That's what works. Because I used to do comedy nights, but I used to act like I was a black guy. Yeah, I would be like, yeah, what's going on, people? Yeah, but it was like a whole bunch of Armenians in the room.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So when I say find yourself, you need to understand like what the niche is, what you're trying to go for. And then when you're yourself, you filter out your fans. That's when you start getting the fans that respect you and actually follow you because you're finding out who you are.
Right. And those type of people like your type of comedy, and other types of people like other types of comedy.
Okay, let's go.
Ow! Let's go. Are you hurting me?
Let's go. Relax. Okay. Sit down. Okay.
You're too rough.
Sit down. Okay. Relax.
Officer, these handcuffs are too tight.
Oh, relax. Okay. Relax. Okay.
Okay,
Relax.
I want to call you.
Hell no.
These cuffs are too tight.
Hey, look.
What's your name, buddy?
Back off, man.
What does that tattoo mean?
I said back off, man. I don't have time for this stuff, man.
You're rough. I like that. You're like strong man, like stuff like that. Like it's hilarious. You're so hot. Like,
Man, you better back up.
I am back up. How am I gonna back up? You would just want me to back up. I'll back up. Give me your number. I'll back up. I'll back it up.
I'll do a number on you, man. I said back up, man. I don't have time for this stuff, man.
So sexy, just amazing. Like,
Man, I'm gonna mess you up when I get out of these handcuffs.
you're not gonna do anything, okay?
How do you deal with just the criticism? I mean, that has to be. I mean, even for an actor or anybody, a model, anybody in front of a camera, anybody in the big screen or a small screen, you're going to get a lot of criticism from everybody because everybody has an opinion.
Sure. I also do security work a long time.
Yeah.
So my bosses used to say, if everybody likes you, you're not yourself. And that always stuck to me. Mm-hmm. So I don't do comedy for people to like me. I do it because I have a point of view on certain things, and that makes me happy when I do comedy.
Yeah.
And when I say filter out, when I do that, I get fans. So I do it for the fans now.
Right.
Obviously, there are people that aren't going to like it because A, they don't relate. B, they're stuck in their box and are afraid to let go.
Right.
So a lot of times I don't blame the people who criticize me because they don't understand it sometimes, right? It's like art. Like you look at an art and you're like, what the hell is this? I don't get it. And then a guy who is in love with art comes by and goes, oh, this is a Francois over here. It's worth $1 million, you know?
Yeah.
So that artist looks for that guy, not the guy who goes, what is this?
Right.
That's the bottom line is, that's it. It's just, I don't take anything personal. Makes me stronger. When I get a negative comment or reaction, it just motivates me to do even better.
Right.
And I just love that. It like feeds me, you know, which is great. I've lost all emotion.
You're all
and
jaded
that's the
now.
truth. I'm like, you didn't like that joke? Sorry. And I just
Yeah.
walk away. And I think that's worse because people like really get upset.
Right.
Because they feel like they have an opinion that you have to say okay to. And when you don't, they're like, what just happened? What just happened?
Yeah.
And then you have these crazy computer warriors who like behind a computer, they'll sit there and like, they do this to like all my sketch videos that, you know, there's a lot of haters, which is okay. Because like I said, not everyone's supposed to like you.
Right.
But sometimes they'll do it just to do it behind the computer, you know, and it's like, you know where I am.
Yeah.
You know where to find me. Come say it in my face.
Yeah.
I've had nothing but greatness. Like people follow me. I've had young girls cry when they see me, and I don't know how to accept that. I'm like, why are you crying?
Yeah.
So the dad would be like, oh my God, my daughter is a huge fan. All she does is watch you, and I'm like, freaky. But the reality is that I get that. I get kids, I get adults, like, you know, and they'll catch me off guard because I forget I put these out, and then I'm myself out, like we're a wedding or something, random places. I was at a nightclub in the bathroom. Some Mexican guy goes, oh my God, he's Michael Passion, fool. I watch all your stuff, man. And I'm like, I'm peeing. What the hell is going on right now? You know, and then he tells his friends, and then the guy who's giving everybody a towel goes, oh, is he? What's going on? I don't get it. What's going on?
Yeah.
It's weird. But when that happens, I feel like I'm changing people's lives, and that's what motivates me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it motivates a lot of other, you know, comedians or entertainers.
You're not the first person to say that.
That's the reward you get. We don't do it for the money. Yeah, obviously it's great when it comes with it, but we don't do it for the money. We do it because that's who we are.
Yeah.
Like my mom was like, stop doing comedy. Just go get a actual job that's gonna. I go, listen, I can't stop even if I wanted to because that's who I am. That's not gonna come out of me. There's no way.
Right. You're suppressing
if I
something.
did that, I would die. Like my wife she knows. She was if Michael ever stopped doing his comedy stuff, he would die of depression.
Right.
You know? Excuse me, but Jerry Seinfeld said it right. He was like, listen, we're professional comedians. We make anything funny. We'll be in a funeral, like 5 minutes in, we can find 3 things that are gonna crack us up.
Right.
And he's absolutely right. But that's also a way of getting away from drama too. Like, you know, we're really serious people. Like, if my sons ever grew up, they'd be like, wait, my dad's a comedian. And a lot of people see me at work with my suit or whatever, and like, wait, they like, I could see them like looking at me for a second to try to figure out if I'm the same guy on TV.
Yeah.
And I am. Once they get to know me, like, oh my God, we were so nervous to talk to you, but you're so... And I'm still not used to this. I'm like, nervous, why? Like,
I'm just a person.
Yeah, I'm not a celebrity. They're like, no, you are.
Yeah.
I go, okay, great.
But you are a celebrity. I mean, obviously, like our community is big in a sense because there's thousands and thousands of Armenians who watch you. And yes, you're in Glendale. You're very easy to spot, and they'll see you and they'll be like, "Oh, he's a real person with a family. He has another job, but this is a role that he plays on stage, just like an actor would with a movie."
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like for example, Armenians love to watch Scarface, you know, De Niro,
all the killings and all the crazy
violence,
stuff,
profanity, sex.
Because they relate to that.
They love that.
They relate to it.
But they don't. But that's not a problem because they're watching a character in a movie, and it's probably one of their favorite actors, and that actor is portraying, you know, just a character, and it's a story. It's not actually that person. But they have a problem, or they don't know how to process the fact that you too are an actor. When you get on stage, you are acting. You are in character.
Well, we're performing, right? It's an actual performance, and we're giving it 100%. Like I always give 110%.
Right.
When I get up, my energy level is extremely high.
Right.
And a lot of comics, I'm not going to mention names, but they don't like to go after me because they just can't compete with that energy level.
Yeah.
Yes, they may be funnier, but at the end of shows, they come up to me and they're like, "Listen, Mike, you were the funniest." and you got to be humble because, listen, these guys get up, they have crazy experience, and I have a lot of comedy brothers and sisters. They're all phenomenal, but you got to be humble.
Yes.
You can't be like, oh yeah, you know, because that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's a huge family. Everybody's doing their own thing, and you got to support it.
Okay, everybody. I'm at my cousin Vilo's construction site. Apparently there is paranormal activity going on, but Armenians don't believe in paranormal activity. What is... Ետ ինչ էր աղբեր, մորս սարև արա վաղցա, ետ ինչ էր, արա եսա գալու են տան են արա, սա ջանս պշակաղ վաղ աղբեր, արա ես բասի ես էլ աստից, դուրը, արա ես դուրը չի բաց, աղբեր եսա գալու են ես տան են, վերջս վատ ալել, մետի կապ չունի մի շրանցս չի պագելու,
It's pretty amazing that you know, an Armenian comedian, and I know like you talk about Armenians on stage, and like you talk about the not so flattering parts.
Yes,
but
I do.
At the end of the day, you are an Armenian, and you know you're.
I'm Armenian.
You couldn't tell the beer gut didn't give you away.
It's just jogum.
Yeah, totally.
Of course, yes, I am Armenian. I'm Hayastansi Armenian.
Yeah. Oh, that's something they should know.
That's right. And I'm married to a Barskahai.
Yeah.
Very interesting at home.
Yeah.
For all the viewers, good stuff. Her mom gives me tea every 10 minutes.
Yes, that has to go with it. Actually, you know what I want to mention to you is Burbank is like the Barskahai boring introvert cousin of the Hayastansi Glendale.
Oh my God, I don't spend any time in Burbank.
Burbank is so merat.
Merats, yeah.
If it wasn't for flappers and like a couple of restaurants that are open kind of late, like we don't have much going on here.
Crazy. I heard the cops are really tough out here.
Very.
That's why.
Very. They have nothing to do. They'll arrest someone with like 6 cops.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Zip tie them for no reason.
Yeah, we used to come to Burbank all the time. Aram and I used to get dropped off by his dad. And oh my God, man. He had a, what was it? What kind of car? Oldsmobile. Wagon.
Wow, that's a G, huh?
With the wagon. Like we would go in the back and he would drop us off. The movies, we used to go to movies.
Aww.
Movies back then was like $4.75.
like 7 days a week.
We had so much fun.
Nice.
Oh man, I missed that car. Yeah, that's the only time we would come to Burbank.
Okay, tell me about your projects coming up. I know you're working on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got a few stuff. I have a movie that I shot myself that I'm currently trying to finish. It's in post-production. It's called No Loose Ends. There's another project that I was casted in. It's called Shadows. It's basically I'm playing a younger thug who gets in trouble with the cartel. That's why I had to get rid of the hair.
Nice. No tattoos on the face, teardrops?
No, because we're playing. I'm like a redneck.
Okay. Really?
Simi Valley.
No.
Yeah.
That's
so I have
terrible.
to be like, come on, dude. So I have that coming up, and Netflix special that was proposed. I'm working on. We have to shoot it and pitch it and see what happens.
Nice.
So a lot of fun projects. And we just keep going, and I'm always doing my own channel, the YouTube channel. I'm always shooting something, and people will ask me, "When's your next project? When's your next project?" So I feel like now you can't not do anything.
Yeah.
Because you just got to keep going. Because people are waiting. So
people are
just staying
waiting.
busy.
You gotta stay on your toes. You gotta give them the next best thing. Plus, it's on camera. You already said it. You gotta work towards it, which I know you will.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And a job that you have, your job.
Yeah.
And then your wife, your kids, all these projects.
Those are jobs too.
Those are jobs too.
Those
no,
are jobs.
absolutely.
When I leave my paid job, I go to my unpaid job.
Totally.
I guess it's an investment.
It is. But
It
then you're going to pay into that because of college.
Yeah. I got 3 kids and they're all for sale. So if you guys are interested, and I'll be the one paying, so holler. Yeah.
It's a very tough job, and I feel like a lot of dads now are way more hands-on. So you kind of like
100%.
You feel the burn of what it feels like to be a mom, a full-time mom, a stay-at-home mom, working mom. I'm proud of you guys for doing that, but it's just you really feel.
I have
how
a joke
much,
where I go, before I was married, I was a man. Now I'm a transgender.
Yeah,
it's
seriously.
kind of true because I started doing laundry and like my wrist starts to flip for no reason. I'm like, guys, hey, keep it cool, guys. My voice gets raspier. Hi guys, everybody relax. Your dad's gonna get home soon. I don't know why my wife loves that. Fun stuff. But it's all about like I told my friends like the best part of getting married are all the jokes that come with it. Like you have to have fun, otherwise you'll die of depression.
God bless America. Malberry vodka, First and foremost, Armenian genocide is recognized. To fix this country, Asians will never drive again. And next time I go to Panda Express, tell your cousin to give me extra shrimp.
Panda Express, my ass. I'm Japanese.
Thank you, Jackie Chan, for coming this evening. I appreciate it. Sit down, no problem. Next.
Tell me the whole process of getting all your skits together for stand-up. How long does it take you to write out everything, or what's the process just in general? You do your own stuff?
Yeah, all of it. I write my stuff. Sometimes I'll be asleep.
And you'll think of something.
I swear I'll have thoughts and then I'll wake up like, shit.
Yeah.
And then I have to write it down usually I write it down on my phone. So
you'll lose it if you don't write it down.
Yeah, you lose it fast.
Yeah.
And then once you start shooting, it changes.
Yeah.
Because you're messing with other actors and then they give you really good things and then you change it somehow. But as long as you stay structured, it's really funny.
Yeah.
I see a lot of stuff that like I'll be at events and I'll see something and then I'll be like, hey, that could be a good sketch. I always try to find something funny. Like I did the funeral sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of criticism for that.
Yeah.
It's not fun to make fun of Jesus. Well, I'm not making fun of Jesus. It has nothing to do with Jesus.
Or making fun of death.
Did you see? Yeah. Or making fun of death. It had nothing to do with death.
Yeah.
What it has to do with the drama. How crazy that we can get. And listen, I did that because I've been to funerals where the family gets insanely crazy. Like they scream so much that literally they have to like bring in security to say calm down.
Yeah.
And that's what captures me, so I use that.
I feel like Armenians are so contradicting sometimes. Like they'll say that to you, but I can't tell you how many times, and this is really sad, I've been to a funeral and the phone will go off. Armenian funeral filled with Armenian
Dude, they're
people.
doing business discussions outside.
Yeah.
They haven't seen them behind a tree?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the stuff that I see when I go to
yes,
funerals.
exactly. Like, this isn't made up stuff. This is stuff we see.
The guy's dead. Like, what? There's nothing else we can do, you know? And what if it's your family? It has been my family.
Yeah.
Jesus Christos said,
Like, look at the twist. It ended up being a black guy in the coffin.
Yeah.
Because they screwed up the
arrangements. Yeah,
so
totally.
That's being creative. If I challenge like 10 people to write something about a funeral, like that's funny, I guarantee you 9 out of 10 would be like, that's not funny. I can't write stuff like that. But that one person is going to go, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's what makes us different. You know, and I don't do it to make Armenians happy. I don't care. I make it so anyone's happy. I've had people that are non-Armenians and they're like, oh my God, you're phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've had Armenians that go, oh my God, do more. And I've had Armenians be like, oh bro, you're destroying the race. No. How does that have anything to do? That's just the person who's, an idiot.
Yeah.
Because it's got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You know, I do it because there's people out there who want to laugh, period.
Yeah.
I have fans from Greece. Like, when you come in, I have fans from everywhere. And that's who I want to be, and that's what I want to teach my kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because of who you are doesn't mean you have to force yourself to stay within who you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all humans. And
we all, let me tell you, like, speaking from a little bit of a different aspect. Okay, men talk about some pretty, sketchy stuff when they're alone with their guy friends.
Of course.
Women, when they go to the hair salon and it's all women, the hairstyle, I have a hairstylist in Glendale. Not gonna name names, but
no.
She's amazing. She's like my mom's age. And the dirtiest, most amazing jokes will come out of this woman's mouth. Profanity, like you name it, she says it. And Armenian curse words are very vulgar. And I think that's where people
And then she's like, I gotta go to church in half hour.
Exactly, yeah, I gotta wrap up your hair because I gotta go to
Jesus
church.
is priority.
And women love to sit there and listen to that. And they crave that. And they want to talk about naughty things. And men talk about naughty things. But when you put them all together in one room.
Nobody talks about any of it.
Exactly. And it drives me nuts because I know you're an adult. I know you have these conversations. But when someone on stage, in your face, raw, live, says that to you, you're just like, oh.
First of all, when you go to a comedy place, you should already expect it.
Right.
But I also believe in time, place, and manner. You have to understand like where your jokes are. Like, you can't go anywhere and talk about dirty stuff. You just can't do that. But when you're with friends, I don't see a problem if that's something that you want to discuss.
Right.
But again, it's just being yourself. You know, if like my wife doesn't do that, period. No matter where we go, she doesn't like because it makes her uncomfortable. Some people are like that. Some people are all out there like, oh my God, let's talk about this and that. You know, I just believe in time, place, and manner. It depends on.
Of course, that's a factor too. I'm not saying just go balls out or whatever, but like there's a time and place, and also if you don't like it, just don't go.
Yeah, I had a 90-year-old Armenian grandma at one of my shows.
Why? Who brought her there?
Somebody brought her.
Oh
Why
my
did they do this?
God.
They brought her. She's sitting right in the front row. And I halfway through, because I get energized and I don't see anything but myself on stage.
Yeah.
Halfway through, I go,
Yeah.
Everyone started laughing for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because why? Because I just said something that people were thinking the whole night.
Yes.
But I mentioned it. So when I mentioned it, everybody was like, oh my God, they felt relaxed because I mentioned it.
Yeah. That you addressed the elephant in the room, so to speak.
Check it out.
Yeah.
At the end of the show, I go, Tatik Jan, oh my, Balam Jan.
Yeah.
And she started cussing.
Yeah.
Way more than she said things that I would never say in my life.
Oh my God.
And she had
awesome.
a blast. She had a blast. So you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You never know. I did a private birthday party. All Armenians. Like when I talk about Armenians, like Russian Armenians, like Phantoms, Bentleys outside. I thought I was at a dealership. So I get there. It's a backyard event. I'm doing my show. There's a guy behind me with a baseball bat. He's taking everything I'm saying serious. But the people who hired me are laughing hysterically. And my security instincts kicked in. I go, okay, there's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But what I did is I kept professional. I go, at the same time, whoever invited me is having a good time. So screw what this guy is going to do.
Right.
Long story short, so I mentioned him while I was doing my stand-up.
Oh.
I go, հոպարով հետևս baseball կարող խաղում չեմ բանանում, like are we playing a game I'm not aware of? And then he's like wants to help it. He started, and then everybody jumped on him and took him out. So A, he was drunk, or B, whatever.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is you can't show fear.
Yeah.
You can't drop your game. You got to do it, and that's
you got to stay on point.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
and that makes them kind of intimidated by that.
And just like the grandma, the guy behind me, everybody was watching him. They weren't watching me because they probably know who he was anyway.
Yeah.
Long story short. Every show is different. You're gonna get like different reactions, you know.
Right.
We had a guy who was threatening me, Mary Basmajan, Mofses Shakarian, all of us threatening us. We're like, oh, you guys, I'm literally gonna come to your next show and I'm gonna kill you. So we had to actually hire security for that night. We had like 4 off-duty cops inside, waiting for the guy. And guess what? He never showed up because he's a computer warrior.
Right.
You know, and we're not saying show up. We're not saying that.
You guys didn't keep your word.
I'm glad you didn't show up because my brother got to live.
Yeah.
But you know that could happen.
Wow, that's crazy.
You never know. And when you said earlier, like it's not easy for a comic, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Because it takes us 30 seconds or less to establish the entire room and see if they're gonna like you or not. Because a lot of people don't know who you are.
Right.
So if you get up there, you have to present yourself as soon as possible.
Right. To
especially
catch their attention.
Let me clarify, especially when people are drinking. For drunks, attention spam is like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you don't catch them right off the bat, if you don't throw something that you're gonna bait them in, you're gonna lose them.
Yeah.
They start texting and talking.
Yeah.
That's like comedians hate that.
Yes, absolutely.
They hate
That's
it.
so annoying.
I did a show at the Comedy Store, and there was one drunk guy passed out. Everybody was laughing, but it was another elephant in the room. Everybody was concerned about him because he was literally out.
Yeah.
Check what happened. I got on stage, my first joke, he woke up.
Nice.
And started laughing at what I was doing.
Nice.
At the end, I got a standing ovation. I thought I got a standing ovation because I was funny. No, I got a standing ovation because I made the drunk guy stand up and clap for me. It was crazy. So things like that, like you never know. You never know. It's crazy. I've seen like a lot of stuff.
Հարկելիներես այսօր սիրով իմ հայրին պիտի ցծդեմ հայ լինելը ինչ է որովհետև գենթանի է հայ լեզուն փու ոտի տակ է գրել Փարի լույս աստղերել եմ քուլուխիս որ դոնեմ Հայաստանի անկախության դոնը դուք գիտես ես ով եմ Ստեփան Փարթամյան ձեզ պիտ փարթեմ խաչիս մեջ ուդեմ Փարի լույս Սիրելի հայ դուք կեթերում եք Փարի լույս
Նախ Փարի լույս չի բարի լույս հա
Է տարբերությունը ո՞րն է
Դե տարբերությունը որ ջոգեր չի զանգի
Ասելիքը դսե
Քեզ ասում եմ բարի լույս հա Փարի լույս չի
Փարի լույս
Բարի լույս
Փարի լույս ագաս
Փարի չէ բարի բ
Թուն հայոց լեզուն աղաղավում ես
Դու հայոց լեզուն դու ես Արա բաչա լսի քեզ ինչ եմ ասում
Ասելիքը դսե
Քեզ ասում եմ գնա հայերեն սովորի արա բտարը փտարից չես տարբերում
Մեկ վարյան ագաս մեկ վարյան քեզ մեկ բան մտիտ ցեցնեմ Ասիա գիտես ինչ է
Հա հայոց այգուբերի երկրորդ տարն է
Ոչ թուն ես
Դու ես արա
Թուն ես
Նա չի բոզա
Thank you, Michael, for joining me. Thank you for sharing your story. I love hearing people's stories, and that's why I have and will continue to have very diverse professions, talking about their different kinds of professions that Armenians in this area are pursuing. because if it interests me, I have them on the show. And if it's something I love and something I want to learn more about and share with my viewers, I will have them on the show. And I really appreciate your time, your story. I wish you continued success.
But you can also catch me on YouTube, Michael Passion Comedy. It's very easy. Just type that inside and you'll be able to see all my stuff. I have over 70 videos. Comment, like, or dislike. Again, I said if you dislike, I'll be more motivated. Make a comment, however you feel. Message me. I'll be able to respond. But a lot of crazy stuff. You guys go. Sometimes my comments are funnier than my sketches, and you can enjoy just reading those. Sometimes I get bored. I just read my comments.
Yeah.
You can catch me on Instagram, Mike_Passion, PASSION. One thing in closing, I just want to tell everybody to keep your hearts open.
Yes.
And don't take a lot of things personal, because at the end of the day, you deserve to smile.
Yes.
And when you take that home, you have a way better night. Don't take it personal. Just understand that what I'm doing is creating, and I don't do it because I feel, personal about certain things. I don't. I love my people. I love the Armenian community. It's got nothing to do with any of that. I just feel like a lot of things need to be said in a comedy way.
Right.
Because a lot of people need to hear it. Like you were saying earlier, sometimes they don't want to talk about it when they're together, but alone they talk about it.
Of course.
So when I get on stage and I do these things, people relate and they're like, oh my God, somebody said it.
Right.
Keep an open mind, have a good time. And when your friend says, go to Michael Passion's show, if you don't, you need to. Because I guarantee you come once, you're going to come all the time.
Absolutely.
Now I feel like a real estate agent.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yes. Comedy is something we all need when you're having a good day, when you're having a bad day. Like for me, it's great. I use it as a way to, brighten my day, and I absolutely love it. Sometimes I just sit there and watch stand-up comedy at home or on my phone because I thoroughly enjoy it, and I mostly enjoy it seeing it live, and to see you and everybody else growing and becoming bigger and bigger just warms my heart. I love you guys. I will continue to support you and come to your shows. And they can find everything that you mentioned on your Instagram and your YouTube. Check. Perfect. Okay. Shout out to my wife. Thank you for being extremely strong. And dealing with my cacada, which is Italian in shit. Because you got to be a really strong person to be able to deal with that. She's like a really huge support for me. She is. She's at every show. She's at every show. There, yeah. She's there. Sometimes my kids, depends if it's all ages. But thank you. I love my family. You guys are phenomenal. And to my fans, thank you guys. You guys make me continue to grow, and that's all I ask for. So I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I just wanted to give a little shout out to Markaryan Accessory for this beautiful brooch. It's a K for Christine. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they have some lovely things. It's all the way from Armenia. And that's from Armenia? Yes, it is. Oh, wow. Handmade from Armenia. I love getting zarter from Armenia. So thank you so much. And until next time.